Emma Parker pulled her coat tighter as she exited St. Luke's Hospital for the final time. Her heart raced with disbelief. 5 years of hard work, erased in one short conversation. "We appreciate your service, but due to budget cuts." Her supervisor's words replayed in her mind like a cruel prank. She had been a nurse through the toughest times, long shifts, sleepless nights, comforting patients who had no one else. And this was a reward? A pink slip? Tears threatened to spill, but she forced them back. Crying wouldn't pay the rent. It wouldn't change the fact that she was now jobless in New York, a city that never slowed down for anyone. As she walked through the busy streets of Manhattan, the crisp fall air felt heavier than usual. She barely noticed the crowd forming near the curb, until she heard the panic in their voices. "Someone help him." Emma's head jerked up. A man lay on the pavement, pale and motionless. Instinct kicked in. She pushed through the onlookers and dropped to her knees. Fingers on his neck, weak pulse, shallow breaths. His life was hanging by a thread. Without hesitation, she began CPR. The world around her faded. No job, no future, no doubts. Just her training, her purpose. 1, 2, 3. She counted as she pressed on his chest. Minutes felt like hours. Then his body twitched. A sharp gasp escaped his lungs. The crowd erupted in relieved whispers. Emma exhaled, her hands shaking. She had saved him. That was all that mattered. She didn't wait for thanks, didn't stay for the paramedics. She just turned and walked away, unaware that in the next 24 hours, her life would change in ways she couldn't imagine. Her mind kept replaying the moment, the man on the ground, his lifeless body, the way he gasped for air when she brought him back. She had done what any nurse would do. Yet, something about it felt different. Morning sunlight streamed to the window of her small apartment as she sat at the kitchen table, staring at a pile of unpaid bills. Rent was due in a week, and her savings wouldn't last long. Job hunting? That could take months. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Is this Emma Parker?" A deep, polished voice asked. "Yes," she replied cautiously. "Asterisk, my name is Daniel Carter. You saved my father's life yesterday." Asterisk. Emma's grip on the phone tightened. She hadn't even seen the man's face clearly, just the urgency to act. "How is he?" she asked. "He's stable. Thanks to you." There was a pause. "I'd like to meet you." Emma frowned. Asterisk, that's not necessary. "I was just—" "Asterisk, please," Daniel interrupted. "Asterisk, you don't understand. You saved a very important man. I need to see you." Asterisk, before she could argue, he gave her an address, a high-end cafe in Midtown Manhattan, the kind of place she could never afford. 2 hours later, Emma walked into the cafe, her worn shoes and thrift store coat making her feel out of place. Daniel Carter was already there, seated at a corner table, tall, well-dressed, with sharp eyes that studied her intently. "I'm grateful for what you did," he said as she sat down. "But I need to ask, why did you walk away?" Emma shifted uncomfortably. Asterisk, I'm a nurse. Saving people is what I do. Asterisk, Daniel leaned forward. "You didn't know who he was, did you?" She shook her head. "My father is Robert Carter, CEO of Carter Industries, one of the wealthiest men in New York." Emma blinked. The name sounded vaguely familiar, but she didn't follow Billionaire news. Daniel smiled slightly. Asterisk, he doesn't just owe you his life. "I do too." Asterisk, before Emma could respond. He slid an envelope across the table. "Consider this a token of gratitude." She hesitated before opening it. Her breath caught. A check for $250,000. Her heart raced. This couldn't be real. Asterisk, I can't take this. Asterisk, she stammered. Daniel's expression turned serious. Asterisk, you can, and you should, but that's not all. Asterisk, Emma looked at him warily. "What do you mean?" Daniel leaned back. "Let's just say this is only the beginning." At that moment, she had no idea how right he was. Emma stared at the check in her trembling hands. $250,000. It was more money than she'd ever seen. Rent, bills, groceries, this would solve everything. But something inside her hesitated. She placed the envelope back on the table and looked Daniel in the eye. I appreciate this, but I didn't save your father for a reward. Daniel studied her, then chuckled softly. Asterisk, I figured you'd say that. But this isn't charity, Emma. It's gratitude. Asterisk, she exhaled. The logical part of her brain screamed to take the money. Her situation was desperate. But before she could decide, Daniel spoke again. Asterisk, I told you. This is just a beginning. Asterisk, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a sleek black card, sliding across the table. Asterisk, come to this address tomorrow morning at 9. My father wants to meet you. Asterisk, Emma hesitated. Everything about this felt surreal, but curiosity gnawed at her. What exactly was she walking into? The next morning, Emma took the subway uptown, gripping the black card in her hands. It led her to a towering glass skyscraper with the name Carter Industries in bold letters. Inside, the lobby was pristine, marble floors, crystal chandeliers, men in sharp suits, and women in elegant dresses. Emma suddenly felt out of place in her simple blouse and coat. A receptionist greeted her. Asterisk, Ms. Parker. Mr. Carter is expecting you. Asterisk, she was led into a private elevator that shot up to the top floor. When the doors opened, she stepped into a breathtaking office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the New York skyline. And there he was, Robert Carter, seated in a massive leather chair, the man she had saved. His silver hair was neatly combed, his suit impeccable. But his eyes, sharp and calculating, watched her with quiet intensity. You must be Emma Parker, he said, his voice deep and commanding. Yes, sir, she replied, suddenly feeling small under his gaze. But motion for her tutsit. I owe you my life. Emma shook her head. I was just doing what any nurse would do. Robert smirked. Asterisk, most people would have walked away. You didn't. Asterisk, he leaned forward. That tells me something about you. Emma swallowed. I wasn't expecting anything in return. Robert nodded slowly. And that's exactly why I want to offer you something. Emma tensed. Offer me what? Robert gestured toward Daniel, who had been standing silently by the window. My son tells me you're an exceptional nurse. Emma's brows furrowed. I lost my job. Robert waved a hand dismissively. Their loss, but my gain. He paused. I want you to work for me. Emma's heart skipped a beat. Asterisk work for you? As what? Asterisk, Robert's lips curled into a knowing smile. Asterisk, as my personal medical advisor. Live in. Full benefits. Triple what you were making before. Asterisk, Emma's breath caught. Was this really happening? Asterisk, I don't know what to say. Asterisk, say yes. Daniel interjected. Emma glanced between father and son. Something about this still felt too good to be true. But before she could respond, Robert leaned back and smirked. Take the night to think about it. But trust me, you won't regret it. Little did Emma know, this decision would change her life forever. Emma sat on the edge of her bed that night, staring at the ceiling. The offer Robert Carter had made was unbelievable. Triple her previous salary, full benefits, and a position unlike anything she'd ever imagined. But something about it unsettled her. Why her? She had saved his life. Yes, but why go to such lengths to bring her into his world? Her fingers traced the edge of the black business card Daniel had given her, his words still echoing in her mind. Say, yes. By morning, she had made her decision. When she arrived back at the towering Carter Industries building, Daniel was already waiting for her in the lobby. I was hoping you'd come, he said with a grin. She took a deep breath. I want to say yes, but I need to understand exactly what this job entails. Daniel smirked. My father will explain everything. Minutes later, Emma stood in Robert Carter's office again. He studied her with the same intense gaze as the day before. You've made a decision, he asked. Emma nodded. Asterisk, I'll take the job. But I need clarity. Asterisk, Robert's lips curled into a small smile. Good. He stood and walked toward the massive windows, his hands behind his back. Asterisk, this isn't just about medical care, Emma. I need someone I can trust. Asterisk, he turned to face her. Someone who won't ask too many questions. Emma stiffened. Emma's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Richard chuckled. Asterisk, nothing illegal, if that's what you're worried about. But my life. It comes with complications. Asterisk Emma's heartbeat quickened. Complications. Before Richard could elaborate, James stepped forward. Asterisk, you'll be my father's personal medical advisor. Traveling when necessary. Ensuring his health is monitored at all times. You'll live in the guest house on the estate. Asterisk, Emma hesitated. Live in? Richard nodded. Asterisk, consider it part of your compensation. I prefer my team close. Asterisk, something about the way he said team sent a chill down her spine. She had just stepped into a world far beyond anything she'd ever imagined. Lauren's hands trembled as she reached for the letter the man had handed her. The envelope was thick, embossed with gold, and radiated importance. Her heart pounded as she unfolded the paper inside. Asterisk, dear Ms. Lauren Carter, we are honored to inform you that you've been selected as a recipient of the Preston Humanitarian Award for your exceptional act of selflessness. Along with this award, you will receive a $500,000 grant to continue your work in saving lives and assisting those in need. Your kindness has inspired not just one life, but countless others. We hope this reward helps you build the future you deserve. With gratitude, the Preston Foundation. Asterisk, tears streamed down Lauren's face. Her entire world had flipped in the past 24 hours, from losing her job to saving a man's life, and now this, a life-changing opportunity. The 4 luxury cars outside weren't just for show. They belonged to representatives from major hospitals and organizations eager to hire her, support her, and be part of her journey. One of them, a woman in a navy blue business suit, stepped forward. Asterisk, Ms. Carter, I'm Dr. Emily Sanders from St. John's Medical Center. We would be honored if you joined our hospital. Name your position, name your salary. We want you on our team. Asterisk, another man, tall and serious looking, stepped in. Asterisk, I represent a private medical institution that supports independent clinics. If you're interested, we can fund your own practice. Asterisk, Lauren was speechless. Just yesterday, she had no job, no hope, no clear direction. And now, doors were opening in ways she never imagined. She turned to Mr. Preston, who was watching her with a knowing smile. Why are you doing this for me? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He chuckled softly. Asterisk, because Lauren, when I was gasping for my last breath, you didn't see a wealthy man. You just saw a human in need. The world needs more people like you, and I won't let someone like you go unnoticed. Asterisk, Lauren took a deep breath, looking at the people around her. She had spent years caring for others, sacrificing, giving everything she had without expecting anything in return. And now, life was finally giving back. With gratitude in her heart and a newfound sense of purpose, she smiled through her tears and whispered to herself, "This is just a beginning."